The jungle planet of Vyerx was never quiet, but this night felt wrong. The air hummed with tension. High above the glowing leaves, silent silver shapes moved across the sky. They were not stars, and they were not human ships. Animals below did not know what they were, but they felt danger and hid. On the forest floor, a small human camp rested beside a river of soft blue light. Machines hummed. Metal tents stood in a loose circle. Small drones floated on patrol, watching the jungle. This place was meant for peaceful work. The humans were here to study plants and strange life, not to fight. Near the edge of the camp, a young girl named Rhea could not sleep. She sat on a crate and watched the shining bugs over the water. She missed the loud space stations she had grown up on. Vyerx felt too wild. Beside her sat a honey badger named Grit. His fur was rough black and white. His eyes were bright and sharp, always alert. He was small but solid, all muscle and stubborn will. Years ago, on another world, he had chosen Rhea as his person. Rhea scratched his back. Grit made a low sound in his chest and leaned against her leg. "I know," she whispered. "The jungle feels angry tonight." She had heard the adults talking in low voices. Unknown signals from orbit. Strange metal shards found in the hills. Burned trails in the soil where no human ship had landed. They thought another species might be on Vyerx. No one had seen them yet, but Rhea believed. Inside the largest tent, Dr. Hale argued with the security chief. Hale wanted more time to study the signals. The chief wanted to warn the orbit station and lock down the camp. In the end, they waited too long. The first strike came without warning. A spear of white light fell from the sky and hit a distant ridge. A heartbeat later, the ground shook. Tents rattled. Grit leaped to his feet, teeth bare. Rhea slid down from the crate, heart racing. Then the alarms began to scream. People poured from the tents, pulling on armor vests and helmets. The security chief shouted orders to fall back toward the center. Hale stared at his tablet. Above them, the silver shapes grew larger. They were no longer drifting. They were diving. Rhea saw one ship cross the pale moon. Its body curved around a dark core, covered in spines like a living spear. Blue fire burned along its sides as it dropped smaller shapes into the air. Dark objects rained down toward the jungle. The river beside the camp began to churn. Sparks jumped from the glowing water and snapped at the air. Blasts hit the distant trees. Tall, glowing trunks fell. "Rhea!" Dr. Hale shouted from the doorway of the big tent. "Inside now." She grabbed her small pack and ran, but stopped at the fence when she heard a new sound. It started low, like faraway thunder, then rose into a sharp metal scream. The dark shapes from the ship had reached the ground. They were not soldiers, they were predators. Each beast walked on 4 long legs built for speed. Their skin looked like smooth stone cut by glowing lines. Where a head should be, there was a cluster of black eyes around a ring of hook-like teeth. They moved with cold grace, like things that had never been prey. The first predator hit a drone. One swipe of stone claws and the machine fell in sparks. Another leaped the fence in a clean, easy jump. The security chief fired his rifle. Bright shots punched tiny craters in the stone skin. The creature flinched but kept coming. The glowing lines along its body burned brighter. Humans shouted, guns fired in bursts. Camp lights flickered as the power grid shook. Rhea stood just inside the gate, frozen. The smell of smoke and hot metal filled her nose. Grit did not freeze. He moved in front of Rhea, low and solid, every hair raised. His growl was deep and constant. Size meant nothing to him. Only threat mattered. One predator turned toward them. Its many eyes focused on the small girl and her companion. It lowered its body to spring. Rhea's body finally obeyed. She grabbed a fallen rifle from the ground. Her hands shook, but they remembered the drills. Thumb on the safety, firm grip. Aim for the center. "Stay with me, Grit," she said, voice rough. The predator lunged. Rhea saw the shine of its claws, the wet gleam of its teeth, the strange light under its skin. She fired. The rifle kicked hard against her shoulder. Shots hit its side. The beast staggered, but its leap did not stop. Grit launched himself straight at its face. The honey badger hit like a living hammer. His claws dug for soft gaps between hard plates. His teeth crushed into one black eye. The predator screamed, a harsh grinding sound. It thrashed, smashing into crates and tearing the ground. Grit hung on, ripping and tearing with wild rage. Rhea fired again and again, aiming for the glowing lines. One shot burned deep into the beast's chest. The light under its skin flickered, then went dark. With a final violent twitch, it crashed to the ground. Grit rolled away and popped back up at once, ready to fight again. His small body shook, but his eyes were bright and fierce. Around them, the battle still raged. More predators poured from the burning jungle. The humans pulled back toward the central generator, forming a tight ring. Beasts fell, but more came. Rhea's arms ached. Her ears rang. Fear twisted in her stomach, but something else grew beside it, hot and steady. She looked at the dead creature at her feet, then at Grit standing ready by her knee. They had just proved one thing. The night was just beginning. These monsters could be killed. The camp burned behind them, sending long columns of smoke into the alien sky. The once calm river of blue light now twisted with sparks as broken machines sank beneath its surface. Trees glowed with rising flames. Screams and energy blasts echoed between the trunks. The air tasted like metal and dust. It felt like the entire jungle was watching. Rhea ran beside Dr. Hale while Grit stayed close to her feet. The security chief pushed them toward the narrow canyon trail that led deeper into the wilds. The ground shook again as another predator slammed into the fence. Humans barely had time to fire before the next one appeared. Rhea turned once, seeing the black-eyed beasts climbing over fallen tents. They moved in lines, almost organized. They hunted like they understood strategy. That frightened her more than their teeth. "Keep moving," the chief shouted. "We regroup at the research vault." Hale gripped Rhea's arm. "Stay by me. We can still reach the mountain shelter." But Rhea kept glancing at the jungle behind them. Her chest felt tight. Fear pushed against her ribs, but something stronger kept her running. She had never seen real war, but she knew this attack wasn't random. These creatures were not wild animals. They had arrived with ships. They knew exactly where to strike. Branches snapped on their left. Grit's ears twitched. He growled low and warning. 3 predators moved between the glowing plants, their lines pulsing like heartbeat light. They didn't attack yet. They paced, watching, measuring the group. The chief raised his rifle. "They're testing us." Rhea swallowed hard. "Why don't they just jump?" Hale looked pale. "Because they want to see how we react. That means intelligence, high intelligence." One predator stepped forward. It opened its ring-toothed mouth, making a sound like metal pipes grinding together. The others echoed it. Suddenly 4 more creatures slipped through the bushes behind the first. The humans were caught between the trail and the beasts. "We can't outrun them," one guard whispered. "They're pushing us off the path," Hale said. "They want us separated." Grit barked sharply. His fur stood high. Rhea held her rifle tighter, her pulse jumping wildly. She could feel the jungle pressing around them like a closing fist. The chief pointed toward a narrow cluster of tall, mushroom-like trees ahead. Their thick stems created a small maze of shadows. "Get to cover. Move." Blaster fire lit up the darkness as the humans sprinted for the trees. The predators charged at once, leaping over rocks, claws carving deep marks into the ground. Rhea's breath tore in and out. Grit ran in front of her, ready to throw himself into the nearest threat. A predator cut them off, landing right in their path. Its eyes glowed a deep red. Rhea slipped on the dirt but kept her gun up. The creature lunged. Grit jumped again, but this time the predator was faster. Its stone-like back slammed against him and sent him rolling across the ground. "Grit!" Rhea screamed. The predator turned toward her. She fired without thinking, hitting its face. The shots cracked one of its eyes but didn't stop it. The creature roared and charged again. Then something unexpected happened. A huge shadow fell from the canopy above. Another predator, but bigger, thicker, its glowing lines bright gold, landed right on top of the attacker and crushed it into the dirt. It snapped the smaller beast's spine with a single bite. The giant one raised its head, sniffed, and stared at Rhea. Hale gasped. A leader-class predator. The large beast stepped closer, towering over her. It didn't attack. It studied her like she was something strange, something it couldn't understand. Its eyes narrowed. Rhea didn't move. She felt as if the air around her froze. Then one of the guards fired in panic. The shot hit the big predator's shoulder. The giant beast spun instantly and roared so loud that the trees shook. It attacked the guard, knocking him through a tree trunk with brutal force. Chaos exploded again. More predators rushed in from both sides. Rhea ran toward Grit. He was pushing himself up on shaking legs, still ready to fight even though his breath came rough. "Come on, buddy," she said, helping him stand. He licked her hand once and growled at the incoming shapes. The humans scattered through the trees, firing blindly. Some predators chased them, cutting off escape routes. The giant leader roared commands that echoed across the canyon, and the others responded, moving like a trained pack. Rhea followed Hale deeper into the tall mushroom grove. The air inside was cool and dim, glowing spores falling like drifting dust. Grit limped beside her. Their footsteps echoed on the soft ground. From deeper inside the grove came a clicking sound. Soft, slow, it didn't match the predators. Rhea raised her rifle unsure. Hale grabbed her arm. Wait, listen. The clicking repeated, soft, almost careful. Something stepped into view, moving from behind a thick stem. It wasn't a predator, and it wasn't human. The creature stood upright like a person, but its body was covered in smooth, dark plates that shimmered blue. Its eyes were bright silver. Its mouth had no teeth, only a thin line. It looked almost gentle. Rhea froze. Grit did too, but his fur slowly lowered. The alien lifted both hands, palms open, not attacking, communicating. Hale whispered, "It's another species, maybe native to Viarx." The alien spoke in a soft, clicking language, then tapped its chest and pointed at them, then toward the forest behind them. It made a sweeping motion like pushing danger away. "I think it wants us to follow," Rhea said. The alien nodded. A loud crash shook the grove as the predator leader forced its way into the tall stems. The alien flinched and stepped back. The giant predator came into view again, pushing down the glowing plants with its heavy body. It spotted Rhea and the alien at the same time and growled low, like a promise of death. The alien gestured quickly for them to run. Then it stepped forward toward the giant predator, raising its arms, dark plates shifting. Rhea grabbed Grit and backed away with Hale. Her heart pounded. The jungle trembled. Behind them, the alien faced the beast alone. And the predator charged. The alien stood its ground as the giant predator rushed forward like a falling mountain. The blue plates across its body brightened, shifting from calm glow to sharp electric light. Its arms moved in quick, practiced motions, forming a guard stance. The ground shook under the leader predator's weight as it leaped, claws stretched wide, jaws open in a silent roar. The alien sprang sideways with almost impossible speed. The predator crashed into a thick stem behind it, smashing the trunk clean in half. Spores burst into the air like glowing dust. The alien spun around and struck the predator's side with both hands. A crack of blue light jumped from its palms to the beast's stone-like skin. The predator snarled, shocked, but not hurt deeply. It swung its heavy tail and slammed the alien into a tree. Rhea gasped. She wanted to run back, but Hale grabbed her arm tightly and pulled her deeper into the tall grove. Grit limped beside her, but his eyes remained locked on the fight, growling low, ready to help if he needed to. The alien recovered quickly, sliding on the ground and jumping back to its feet. The predator lifted its claws again, charging once more. This time both combatants vanished behind a cluster of tall stems. Crashing sounds echoed through the grove. It was impossible to tell who was winning. Hale spoke quickly, breathless. "We have to keep moving. If the leader is distracted, that gives us time." "But that alien just saved us," Rhea said. "We can't leave it." "We don't have a choice," Hale answered. "If we stay, we die, and then its sacrifice means nothing." Rhea hated the words, but they made sense. She looked at Grit, who nudged her hand as if agreeing. She swallowed her fear and hurry-walked beside Hale, moving through the glowing pillars. The grove grew darker as the path narrowed. Strange vines hung down, carrying tiny blue insects. They blinked like sparks drifting through the air. The air felt colder, quiet except for distant growls. Rhea kept her rifle ready even though her arms felt heavy. After several minutes of careful movement, the grove opened into a deeper basin. The ground was covered with soft moss that glowed faintly. Tall spires of stone rose around them like broken towers. Small pools of silver water reflected the sky above. The place felt ancient, like a forgotten temple inside the jungle. Rhea stepped forward slowly. "What is this place?" Hale looked around, amazed. "I've seen maps. This is part of the old native ruins. We thought the species died out long ago." Grit sniffed the air but did not growl. His body relaxed slightly. That meant the predators were not close, at least not yet. Rhea knelt near a pool and touched the surface. The silver water rippled in perfect circles. She saw her reflection, dirty face, tired eyes, but something else too. Patterns carved into the stone beside the pool. Hale leaned in to look. "These carvings, they match the symbols we found in the hills. This place must have been important to the natives." Rhea traced one carving with her finger. It showed a creature shaped like the alien who rescued them. Beside it stood a large animal, bigger than a predator, wrapped in glowing marks. The carvings showed them fighting side by side against dark shapes that looked frighteningly similar to the predators attacking now. Her voice shook. "This already happened before." Hale nodded slowly. "A war a long time ago." Before they could think further, steps echoed behind them. Rhea spun around, lifting her rifle. The alien stood there. Its blue plates were cracked in several places. A dark liquid dripped from its side. But it was alive. Grit growled but softly, recognition, not threat. The alien stepped forward, breathing hard. It pressed one hand against its wound but stayed upright. When it looked at Rhea, its silver eyes softened a little. Rhea walked closer. "You survived." The alien tapped its chest gently, then pointed to the carvings on the stone. It touched a mark shaped like its species, then tapped the glowing lines on its own arms. Rhea understood. "You came from these ruins," she whispered. "Your people fought these predators before." The alien nodded. Hale stepped forward. "Can you speak our language? Do you understand us?" The alien hesitated, then reached for the device on its wrist. A soft hum filled the air. It tried to speak again. This time the clicking sounds shifted into broken words. "Predators return," it managed. "Hunt all." Rhea felt her stomach twist. "They want to wipe out everything." The alien looked at her and said one word clearly. "Yes." Grit barked sharply, sensing danger coming closer again. The alien pulled a small glowing shard from a pouch at its waist and held it out to Rhea. She took it carefully. It felt warm in her palm. The shard lit up when her skin touched it, glowing brighter than before. The alien pointed to the center stone tower. "Key," it said. "Wake shield." Hale frowned. "A shield generator hidden under these ruins." The alien nodded once. Rhea stared at the glowing shard. "You want me to activate it?" The alien pointed at Rhea directly, then at Grit. "You, strong heart, not fear." Rhea felt her chest tighten. She was only a girl. She wasn't a soldier or a hero. But the alien looked at her as if she was something more. Grit pressed his body against her leg, as if reminding her she wasn't alone. The alien turned suddenly, body tensing. It raised one arm and pointed toward the way they had come. Rhea listened. Slow footsteps, heavy, controlled. The leader predator was coming. Rhea grabbed Grit and the shard, and Hale helped guide them toward the central tower. As they ran, the air grew colder and the tower's glow brightened. The stones had faint symbols that matched the shard in her hand. Behind them, the alien stepped between Rhea and the approaching shadow. It raised its arms again, preparing to fight even in its wounded state. The sound of claws scraping stone filled the air. Leaves shook. The predator's outline appeared at the grove entrance. Rhea ran her hand across the front of the tower, searching for something, anything. And then the shard pulsed once, twice, then glowed a bright blue. Something deep within the tower answered. A soft vibration moved through the ground. Symbols lit up across the entire structure, connecting like veins waking after long sleep. The forest trembled. The air changed. The predator roared behind them, furious and ready to kill. Rhea pressed the shard against the stone, and the tower began to open. The stone tower shifted as if something inside had been sleeping for centuries. The ground vibrated under Rhea's feet. Dust fell from the cracks, glowing with blue light. The air inside the ruins turned warmer, as though a giant breath had awakened. Rhea held the shard tightly against the symbol carved in the stone, and the symbol absorbed its glow like thirsty roots drinking water. The tower opened slowly, splitting down the center. A soft hum rose from deep below. Hale took a few steps back, amazed and frightened at the same time. Grit stood guard at Rhea's feet, growling at every sound behind them. The leader predator stepped into the basin, its glowing red lines burning brighter than before. Its body looked cracked and scarred from the battle with the alien, but its strength had not faded. It scanned the area with cold intelligence. When its many black eyes landed on Rhea, its lips peeled back, showing the ring of jagged teeth. It knew she was activating something important. The alien warrior stood between the predator and the humans, breathing hard. Its cracked blue plates flickered weakly, but it raised its arms again. Its silver eyes locked onto the predator, refusing to back down. The predator lowered its body to pounce. Rhea shouted, "Hurry! Open, open, open!" The tower groaned and finally revealed a circular platform descending into a glowing chamber. Pale blue mist drifted upward, carrying the smell of old metal and forgotten technology. Inside, a large crystal pulsed like a slow heartbeat. Hale's voice shook. "This must be the shield core. If we activate it, it might protect the whole valley." Rhea took a shaky step forward, staring at the glowing crystal. "But how do I use it?" Before Hale could answer, the predator lunged. The alien warrior met the charge head-on. They clashed with a thunderous impact. Blue sparks and red light burst around them. The alien struck the predator's head, sending a crack of energy through its skin. The predator snarled and bit down on the alien's shoulder. The alien cried out in a sharp, painful sound. Rhea screamed their name even though she didn't know it. Grit bolted toward the fight without hesitation. Hale tried to grab him, but Grit slipped away, baring his teeth as he charged the massive predator. Rhea felt panic crush her chest. The honey badger was fierce, but the leader predator was a monster. Still, Grit didn't slow down. He leaped at the predator's back, claws digging into glowing cracks in its armor-like skin. The predator roared and twisted, trying to shake both attackers off. The alien held on with all its strength, even as blood dripped from its shattered plates. Grit bit into a glowing line near the predator's spine. The beast spasmed violently. "Rhea," Hale shouted, "you need to activate the core now." Rhea turned toward the glowing chamber. The crystal pulsed faster, reacting to the shard in her hand. She climbed onto the platform. The air vibrated around her. Strange symbols lit up beneath her feet. She touched the crystal with the shard. A powerful shock ran through her arm. She gasped but didn't pull back. Instead, she pressed harder. The chamber lit up like rising sunlight. Blue energy swirled around the crystal and shot up the tower walls. The ground shook again, harder this time. Hale shielded his eyes as light poured from the tower. Behind them, the predator slammed the alien into the ground and turned toward Rhea again. It roared, furious, sensing its window to stop her was closing. Grit dropped from its back and landed on his feet, shaken but still alive. The alien used the opening to punch the predator's jaw, making it stumble. Rhea could feel the crystal speaking, not with words but with emotion. Fear, duty, memory. It felt the predator threat, just like the ancient war long ago. The shard in her hand glowed as it merged with the crystal. The entire chamber hummed like a giant machine rising from sleep. Rhea shouted over the sound, "Please work, please help us." The crystal responded. Light burst upward through the tower, creating a beam that shot into the sky. It split into rings of blue energy that spread outward like ripples on water. The air outside turned electric. Leaves rustled even without wind. The ruins shimmered. The alien warrior looked up at the rising energy, eyes widening with hope. The predator leader sensed danger. It abandoned the fight and lunged straight toward Rhea with all its remaining fury. Hale fired his rifle, yelling for her to duck, but the shots barely slowed the beast. Rhea saw the predator coming. Everything slowed. She felt frozen, trapped on the platform with the crystal humming under her hand. She couldn't move fast enough. Grit moved first. The honey badger leaped between Rhea and the predator, slashing the beast's eye with a final burst of strength. The predator screamed and swiped at Grit with a massive claw. The blow sent Grit flying across the stone floor. Rhea shouted his name, voice breaking. The predator towered above her, one eye ruined, body shaking with rage. It rose its claws for the killing strike. The blue wave activated. Energy exploded outward from the tower, hitting the predator like a crushing force. It staggered back, roaring in pain. Its glowing red lines flickered and then dimmed. A second wave hit harder, sending cracks all over its stone-like skin. The sky dimmed as more predator ships descended, each one shaped like a knife of metal and bone. Their engines hummed with a cold, living sound that spread across the jungle like a warning. Even with the shield waves pushing across the valley, the ships above did not stop. They circled slowly, watching, calculating. The biggest ship drifted lower, its shadow covering half the ruins. Rhea held Grit close as the honey badger tried to stand again. He managed a few steps before leaning against her leg. His stubborn strength made her smile through her fear. Hale moved to check the alien warrior's wounds. The alien breathed heavily, its cracked plates leaking faint blue liquid, but it stayed conscious and alert. The ruins around them glowed faintly from the recently awakened shield. Blue patterns pulsed across the stones like veins. The energy waves were still spreading outward, but they were becoming slower and softer. Hale watched the light fade and shook his head. "The shield covered the valley, but it won't stop a full invasion," he whispered. "Those ships will break through once they understand how it works." Rhea looked up at the giant ship. Its red lights blinked slowly like a single watching eye. "What do they want? Why do they hunt everything?" The alien turned its silver eyes toward her. It tapped the carvings again, the images showing its people fighting the same enemy long ago. Then it pointed to the sky and made a crushing gesture with its hand. Hale translated softly, "They don't hunt for food, they hunt to dominate, to erase other species." Rhea felt her fists tighten. The thought of entire worlds crushed under those ships made her stomach twist. She looked at Grit, who stood ready despite his wounds. If a honey badger refused to give up, how could she? The alien pointed toward the far side of the ruins, where a giant stairway led upward through broken stone arches. The alien spoke in its broken voice, more awake needed. Hale's eyes widened. There are other towers, other parts of the ancient system. The alien nodded slowly. Rhea looked toward the stairs. She could almost feel a faint energy pulling from that direction, something calling to the shard inside the crystal. Do we have to activate them too? Another nod. But the predators are everywhere, Hale said quietly. If we climb that ridge, we'll be exposed. Rhea touched the alien's arm gently. Is there another way? The alien tapped the ground, then pointed at the jungle. It made a spiraling motion with its hands. Hale watched the motions carefully. I think it means there's a path under the valley, he said. A tunnel system. Rhea took a deep breath. Then we go. The alien stepped forward, leading them toward an opening near the base of a broken pillar. Moss covered the entrance, hiding a deep tunnel beneath it. The air smelled cool and metallic. Rhea hesitated at the dark opening but followed the alien, trusting its knowledge of the ruins. The tunnel walls were made of smooth stone carved with the same glowing symbols. Rhea held her hand close to them, watching the faint blue light respond to her presence. Grit walked carefully beside her, his steps steady again. Hale followed behind, checking his tablet for mapping signals. As they walked deeper, the tunnel widened. Strange stone devices lined the walls, long dead and silent. Some looked like weapons. Others looked like machines that could reshape stone. The alien stopped at one of them and placed its hand on a panel. The machine flickered weakly but did not wake. It was too damaged. Rhea whispered, "Your people built all this?" The alien nodded but looked sad. It touched one broken device, lifting a piece of fallen plate from the floor. Its expression was soft, almost grieving. Hale placed a gentle hand on its shoulder. "I'm sorry." The alien closed its eyes briefly, then continued walking. A humming sound began to rise as they moved further. The air grew warmer, vibrating like a silent drumbeat. Rhea felt the shard inside the crystal pulsing inside her pocket, as if guiding her. Grit's ears twitched at every echo. After several minutes of walking, the tunnel opened into a massive chamber. Rhea gasped. The room stretched high into the darkness, filled with giant towers of stone and metal. Blue light flowed across the floor like liquid energy. But something else filled the room, footprints. Many footprints, heavy claw marks carved into the stone. Hale knelt and touched one of them. Predators were here recently. The alien moved quickly, scanning the shadows. It lifted its hand, silently warning them to stay behind it. Rhea stepped closer to Grit. Her heart pounded. The chamber felt too large, too open. Every corner seemed like a place where something could hide. A low growl echoed from the dark. Rhea froze, Grit bristled. The alien warrior stepped forward, raising its arms. A predator emerged from behind a broken pillar, then another, and another. Their glowing red lines lit the chamber like a swarm of angry fire. At least a dozen predators circled them slowly, eyes fixed on the humans and the alien. They did not attack immediately. They were waiting for something. Above them, a louder hum filled the chamber. Rhea looked up, and her breath caught. From the shadows high above, a creature descended on a thick chain of living tendrils. It was larger than the leader they fought before, with 4 times the claws and a body covered in black armor like bone. Its glowing eyes were bright gold. It moved slowly with confidence. Hale whispered, shaken, "An alpha-tier predator." The alpha landed on the stone floor with a heavy thud, shaking dust from the ceiling. It towered over the others, its curved teeth shining in the glowing light. Its presence was enough to silence the chamber. Rhea felt the air around her go cold. The alpha stepped forward, scanning the group. When its eyes landed on Rhea, it growled, deep and thunderous. It recognized her from the shield activation. It remembered. The alien warrior stepped protectively in front of her. Grit moved up too, growling fiercely even though he was small. Rhea raised her rifle, though her hands shook. The alpha lowered its head and roared, the sound shaking the entire chamber. The smaller predators responded instantly, closing in. Rhea whispered to Grit, "We have to reach that next tower. We have to wake the rest of the shield." The alien pointed toward the far end of the chamber where a second glowing platform stood. It pulsed faintly, calling them like a heartbeat. Rhea nodded. "We run for it." The predators crouched, ready to leap. Rhea grabbed Grit, braced herself, and the chamber erupted into chaos. The predators leaped from every direction, their claws scraping the stone floor as they launched themselves into the air. The chamber turned into a storm of shadows and red light. Rhea didn't think. She grabbed Grit, held her rifle tight, and ran toward the second glowing platform at the far end of the room. Hale shouted behind her. The alien warrior sprinted beside them, its cracked plates glowing faintly as if drawing strength from the ruins. The Alpha roared a command, and half the predators turned to chase Rhea. The others attacked the alien, trying to block its path. The alien struck back with fierce blows, knocking two predators aside with blue flashes of energy. But the Alpha stepped forward and rammed its heavy body into the alien, sending it rolling across the stone floor. Rhea looked back, terrified, but she kept running. The platform pulsed brighter the closer she came. It reacted to the shard in her pocket. She slid across the ground and reached the base of the platform as Grit jumped from her arms and took a defensive stance beside her. Hale caught up, breathing hard. "Do it, Rhea, activate it." Rhea pulled out the shard, its glow intensified, lighting her hands. But when she placed it against the platform's surface, nothing happened. The energy flickered weakly, then faded. "No, no, please," she whispered. "Why isn't it working?" Hale looked at the faded light. "The shard is only a key. The system is too damaged. It needs more power." Rhea's heart twisted. "Where do we get more?" Before Hale could answer, a heavy body crashed beside them. The alien warrior lay on the ground, struggling to rise. Its plates were cracked almost completely now, blue liquid dripping steadily. It forced itself onto its knees and looked at Rhea with tired but determined eyes. The alien pointed at the core platform, then touched its own chest. Rhea shook her head in horror. "No, you can't. That'll kill you." The alien stepped closer, placing one hand on Rhea's shoulder. It spoke in broken, trembling words. "My people protect. New heart needed." Hale understood. The cores were made using their energy, life energy. The alien wants to channel its own strength into the system. Rhea's eyes filled with tears. "You'll die." The chamber shook violently as the Alpha approached. It knocked two predators aside and fixed its glowing gold eyes on Rhea and the alien. It roared again, louder than before. The floor cracked under the force of its steps. The alien turned to face it, standing taller. With its free hand, it reached out and gently touched Grit's head, then Rhea's. Its touch was warm, gentle, full of silent gratitude. The alien pushed Rhea and Grit back with surprising strength. Then it stepped onto the platform. Blue energy flashed like lightning as the alien placed both hands on the pillar. The shard leaped from Rhea's grasp and fused itself into the stone, glowing brighter and brighter. The alien's body glowed too, its plates turning almost transparent as energy flowed from its chest to the core. The Alpha realized what was happening. It screamed and charged. Rhea threw herself in front of the platform, holding her rifle high. Her hands trembled, but she fired again and again, trying to slow the monster. Hale joined her, firing with everything he had. The shots burned holes into the Alpha's armor, but it did not stop. Its huge body crashed closer and closer. Grit ran straight at the Alpha with fearless rage. He bit into one of its glowing joints, tearing through the crack made in the earlier fight. The Alpha roared and kicked, sending Grit tumbling through the air. Rhea screamed his name, but he hit the ground and stood again, limping but still ready to fight. The chamber vibrated as the alien's energy grew brighter and brighter. Symbols on the floor lit up like fire. The air turned hot, swirling with power. Rhea felt the force rising through her bones. The Alpha leaped for the final strike. The platform exploded with blue light. A massive shockwave burst outward, slamming into the Alpha midair and throwing it backward across the chamber. The smaller predators were hurled into walls and pillars, their glowing lines flickering out. The entire room lit up with intense energy as the second shield core awakened fully. Rhea shielded her eyes, feeling the ground pulse beneath her. The beam shot upward through the ceiling, past stone and roots, and into the sky where it spread like a sunburst. It merged with the first shield, forming a huge dome of light over the entire valley. The Alpha tried to rise, but the new wave crushed it down again. Its golden lines dimmed and then faded completely. Its body went still. The chamber trembled for several seconds before the energy finally calmed. Rhea opened her eyes slowly. The alien warrior lay still on the platform, its light gone, its body fading into soft gray. Rhea felt her breath break. She knelt beside it, touching its hand gently. "Thank you," she whispered with tears on her face. "You saved us." Grit limped to her side and rested his head against her leg. Hale stood behind them, silent, knowing a great sacrifice had been made. Above them, the predator ships began to react.